We're in a bizarre world right now. You're the coach of an AFL team and we're caught up in the coronavirus. Can you just give a coach's perspective on the plans in place for you, the coach, and the players going forward?
Oh, look, we're a lot like everyone else. So we're dealing with hygiene and being, pretty cautious around events like this. But in a way that, without being too hysterical, I suppose. So just finding that balance, understanding our players are a priority in terms of trying to look after them in these situations. So there's going to be a little bit of change with interactions with our fans and supporters, which, it's not ideal, but I'm sure everyone will understand.
Let's get to the football side of things. A couple of pre-season games taken care of, Essendon and Fremantle. No wins there. Any concern, or what did you like? What did you take out of it? Were the positives and maybe stuff that has to be worked on?
Yeah, it's been interesting, the pre-season across the board. I think the football's been a little bit different this year. Would have liked to play a little bit better, so definitely something to work on. We'll have a hit out tomorrow. Trying to get a gauge or a form line with pre-season is pretty difficult. I think even this year's gone to a different level than perhaps years gone by. So boys are training well, there's good energy. They trained at Optus today. We had a bit of a captain's run sort of look. First time we've been back there, so it's looking really good. And we'll have a hit out tomorrow and get into Demons next week.
Can I ask, as an AFL coach, what changes from your last game last year to the new season in regards to what you hear on the grapevine about game styles and what other clubs are working on and what you are working on as a football club?
Yeah, every year we review the season. We have a look at what worked and what didn't work. We try and not predict, but where's the game headed? Got to be really careful too, because you think it's going one way and you go the other way, and it doesn't work out. So we just work on fundamentals really. It's only footy. It's not that complicated. So they're not rocket scientists, these boys. So we keep it pretty simple. So the skills are our priority pre-season. Changing the style of play and tweaking things. If we're not too careful, we'll outsmart ourselves. So get your best players on the track and be really good at your skills and defend well. That's pretty much it, mate.
You're a skipper now. How does that sit with you? Put your hands together for our new skipper as well again, Luke Shuey. Brilliant stuff. How has life changed as an AFL footballer, not so much as Luke Shuey, but as an AFL footballer when you take on the captaincy duties?
To be honest, guys, I haven't had to do a whole lot since taking over. It has only been 2 or 3 months. I'm really excited by the opportunity, excited to lead this group and this wonderful club. Get to work with some great guys every day and looking forward to the journey. But I'm sure there'll be a little bit on my platter throughout the season, but looking forward to it. Got some great guys around me to lean on, so shouldn't be, as Simo said, I'm not a rock scientist, so it shouldn't be too hard.
Simple thing for a captain is the toss of a coin. What's your form like as tossing the coin? Are you a heads or tails man?
I'm 2 from 2 over the last fortnight.
Have you?
Yeah, and we haven't won either game, so thinking about just letting Max go and pick what way he wants to go in round 1, and hopefully we win. But 2 from 2, mate.
Who's impressed you through the March series? Obviously, there's a turnover of players. There's been plenty of players that we've seen, obviously. But what about the ones that maybe we don't know much about from the young group that we can get excited about in 2020?
Oh, you just get excited seeing young guys get to play games and pull on the Guernsey. So, Jared Brander has had a handful of games over the years and moved him up into the midfield a little bit, and he's played both our Marsh games. Bailey Williams had a run against Essendon a few weeks ago. And we've got other guys who we've had on the list for a couple of seasons. Josh Rotham, Liam Duggan's played really well over the first 2 weeks. So all these guys who, hopefully we look forward to seeing them take the next step this season and helping us move back up the ladder again.
How different will the team look, Adam? I mean, in regards to the new boys who have come through and those who have played a handful and those who haven't played any, what shape does the team look like early doors?
I think the core part of our side will look pretty similar. Obviously, Tim coming in changes a few things, but I think Luke is right with our youth coming through. It's probably not the debutants you'll see this year. It's more, how's Liam Duggan going to take the next step, and Tom Cole and Jacko Nelson, and hopefully Bailey Williams does get the debut for us. So the focus has been on those opportunities for those players. Some of those guys have got a spot on the side and some are fighting for a spot. So that's the exciting part. It's been a really exciting journey that we've been on, and Tim is fit in really well, with our midfield. He complements the other boys and Nick really well. So, yeah, we're working through some of the selection issues, but there's a real positive signs.
Elliot Yeo and Jack Darling have been added to the leadership group, but for both of you, what do they add? What do they bring around the football club, around the group? I mean, it's been a wonderful transformation for Jack from the young boy that came to the club all those years ago to where he's at now. Why are they in the group and what do they bring?
Well, the players voted for the leadership group this year, so with a bit of changing of the guard, so they got voted in by the players. We fully endorsed both of those selections. Yoey's he's an angry man, Yoey. Gets quite aggressive, especially on game day, and so bringing him inside the tent to understand about how to give and receive feedback is a good thing. But I love it. I think it, the passion for the club, and he just loves winning, which I think complements our group really well. So how can we mould that into a really strong, powerful leader? That's in front of him, and Jack's. He's probably played second fiddle to JK in terms of leadership in that forward line. He's really ready to take control with his form on field, and we've seen some real growth with the younger players off field. So both those guys are in the perfect space now to come to the leadership group.
Who do you lean on? As a first-year skipper, and you've been around the club long enough now, and you're coming after Shannon Hearn, we know what a great skipper he's been, a premiership skipper. What sort of captain do you want to be, and who are you leaning on in regard to mentoring you through the role, if that's needed?
Well, I'm lucky that Bung's still hanging around for a few more years. So I got him there. Obviously, Joshy's been a great vice captain to, I think, Glassy all those years ago, and then Bunga for 5 years, and now me. So I've got him there as well. But even guys below us, guys like Simo touched on, Tommy Cole, Duggo, Jacko Nelson. This age group, they're starting to blossom as leaders as well. And that's really exciting. You always wonder as a senior player where the next generation of leaders for your footy club is going to come from. And I think over the last 12 months particularly, these guys have stepped up. So it's nice to have a whole range of different ages to sort of touch base with across the playing group. But a little bit sport for choice, which is a good thing.
Adam mentioned that you had a run on Optus. You'd start to get the vibes now that the game's not too far away from the first round, putting away all the outside noise. Are there nerves amongst the group? Did you feel like it just may have gone up a level today, just the feeling of going back to where the games are played and where you'll be on Sunday week?
Yeah, it's always nice to touch base with Optus and get back there and have a look around. It's the first time we've been there this year, so hopefully we get on next week. I think we'll have another run next week before Melbourne, but you can sort of smell round one a couple of weeks out, and we probably haven't played our best footy over the last fortnight, but still done a lot of things right, and a little bit to work on, as I'm sure every club does. But it is exciting knowing round one's just around the corner, and we're confident we can get it all together and put in a good performance next week.
Last one for you, Adam. You've restructured the coaching staff a little bit. Just can you share with the audience in regards to what changes you've made there and why?
7 years in now, Goss, and I've had a lot of the same coaches for that time, so either got to get rid of them or change their role. And they're good coaches. They've gone through the journey with all of us. So part of their growth is to try and coach in other areas. I mean, coaching. It's different when you get to a forward line versus back line. So a few changes. Daniel Pratt, who's coaching our backs, goes to the stoppages and the contests, and Jamie Graham's doing the defenders now, and Luke Webster's doing the forwards, and Adrian Hickmon's coaching the waffle side. So they're experienced coaches. They know what they're doing, and I'm sure they do well.
Question without notice before we let you go. Are you excited? Are you genuinely excited on what that group that we saw on stage can do, and there's some burning desire to get back to the premiership form? Yeah,
really excited. It's an awesome group. We've got a really good mix of older guys who are still playing really well, and younger guys who are starting to push those older blokes out a little bit and push the spots. So really excited for the year ahead. Can't wait for next week. Take it 1 week at a time, Goss, as you know.
Oh, beauty.
But, look forward to the big challenge in Melbourne next week. We've also had a really good pre-season. So looking forward to seeing all our fans next week.
Yeah, actually, before we go, I just wanted to thank everyone for coming today. Obviously, there's a bit going on at the moment. Understand and respect the fact we'd love to engage ourselves a little bit more in the coming weeks. It might be a bit difficult, but over 90,000 members. There's a great vibe around the football club, and we appreciate all your support. So even though you might be from afar a little bit this season, we still know you got our back. So thanks for everything.
Put your hands together for Adam Simpson and Luke Shuey, ladies and gentlemen, our captain and coach for 2020.